hope some of you remember me, Kerry Cornish. My married name is Liddick. Gordon and I live in Dallas presently, and we couldn't be with you because months ago we booked a cruise to South America. As we have leisure time now, we enjoy traveling and we continue to work on our bucket list. My fondest memories of high school would be sports night, where we girls fought and played hard for the orange or the blue. And another would be rooting our basketball team on at home games. I'll close out and say goodbye. Wish you well. Bye.
Hello, all of you MHS grads from 1968. My name is Marvin Lito, in case you don't recognize me. I still do have my hair, but I've gotten a bit older since last we ran into one another. My thoughts as I started to work with the ladies on this reunion and trying to make this video was how fortunate we all were to begin our careers in life at a school and in a town that is probably the most preeminent in the entire United States. That was our parents' gift to us. And I believe, although all of our stories are different, the time we spent at Manhasset High gave us a great send-off on that particular adventure. Hard to believe, half a century since we left there. But I believe, because we all seem to take care of ourselves fairly well, that we will have many more years to remember and enjoy the memories of our time at Manhasset High. For all of you who are attending the reunion, I hope you all have a good time. We've certainly worked hard to make it a fun one. And for those who will miss it, so sorry. We will do our best to pass along some of the wonderful times during that evening so that all of you can share who are not able to attend. Again, congratulations, y'all. We made it 50 years.
This is Mark Sheehan here. I don't know whether you can catch that or not. Mark Sheehan, class of 1969. And we were joined together at the ankle with our beautiful brethren and lasses from the class of 1968. And I am so sorry I can't be there because I wanted to remind everybody how good looking I am and was even back in 1969. Let me tell you, I look at this daily. Extremely modest and very successful. I must confess that I had a lot to do with my upbringing. All right, I lied about all of that. I did want you to know that my brother David is my mentor, inspiration, replacement for an old man, and just everything wonderful. His marvelous wife, Ellen, is also going to be there in the audience. I want you to go up and give my brother a big kiss on the lips. Boy or girl, you kiss him. Just wanted to say, I'm so sorry I can't be there. I will be there if I'm still breathing in 1969's reunion next year. Oh, by the way, if Tom Kennedy is there, Timmy Meehan, Tommy Meehan, you name all of those boys, up the insurance. I'll be there next year. Have a great time, guys, and nothing more to say. Come on down to Hollywood Lane in Newport Beach, Australia. Marty, good night.
Hi everyone, this is Linda Williams Spears, now in Houston, Texas, and my thoughts about MHS revolve around not just the classroom studies, but mainly the extracurricular activities that we all enjoyed, including sports, cheering for sports, and other student government, etc. types of activities, but mainly the friendships that we formed over the years, and those names have stayed with me even though I haven't been attending the reunions. This will be my first in 50 years, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with everyone. And currently I still live in the Houston area and stay busy with some gardening and keeping up with my friends and family, have a married daughter with 2 grandchildren now, and enjoy seeing them as frequently as possible. So take care. Bye.
Hi, everybody. Amy Sabrin here. How are you? Looking forward to seeing you at the reunion soon. You know, my late mother fastidiously saved a lot of memorabilia for me from high school. including the transcript of the speech I gave at our graduation. Now, you may recall it began with this poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay. My heart is warm with the friends I make, and better friends I'll not be knowing. But there isn't a train I wouldn't take, no matter where it's going. And that is my most significant memory from high school, how eager I was to get out of there, quite frankly. There were so many exciting and tumultuous things going on in the world when we were in high school. The Vietnam War and the protests against it, the civil rights movement, the women's movement, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and those two terrible assassinations that occurred our senior year. And it just seemed to me that Manhasset was on the periphery of everything, all the action, and I wanted to get out into it. But looking back, I realized that my experiences in high school laid the foundation for a lot of my success and happiness in life. And in particular, the teachers that we were privileged to have. In the English department, Mrs. Elliott and Miss Wilkerson taught me everything I know about good writing. And I basically earned my living off of my writing skills as a journalist first and then as a lawyer. And I didn't study it beyond high school, so I got it all there from those two wonderful teachers. And then in the social studies department, Dr. Goddard and Mr. Pervin gave us a good grounding in American history and in American government. And that, of course, stood me well, too, in my career as a journalist and then as a lawyer. And finally, Mrs. Rago in studio art and Mr. Murphy in AP art history instilled in me a lifelong love of art, which I indulge to this day in retirement by painting and by leading tours at the Smithsonian American Art Museum here in Washington, where I've lived for 45 plus years. So I owe a lot to Manhasset. I want to add two other things that happened in high school that I treasure. One is I won an SCA scholarship to go to Europe the summer after our junior year. And senior year, I participated in the domestic exchange with Greenville, Alabama. And both of those were really eye-opening and life-altering experiences for me and instilled in me a lifelong love of travel and meeting new people and meeting people from different cultures, which I have indulged all my life. So those are all great things I got from Manhasset. And while I was eager to get out of there, I was very happy to be from there. In terms of what I'm doing now, I'm, as I said, living in Washington. I've been married to my husband, Evans Witt, for 39 years, and bless his soul, he's going to come with me to this reunion. So you'll get to meet him. And as I said, I was a journalist, and then I practiced law for 25 years here in Washington, and now I'm retired. So see you soon. Bye.
Hello, everyone. I am so sorry that I'm not going to be there with you guys. I'm sure you're having so much fun, as I know I would be too. But my son had to go ruin it and qualify for the USGA Mid-Amateur Championship, which is being held in Charlotte, North Carolina, probably a rain-soaked Charlotte, North Carolina. Anyway, I will be heading up there Wednesday and therefore cannot make it. And really, I was so looking forward to it. Anyhow, I'll try to make this as brief as I can. Grew up in Manhasset since I was born in 1950, and now actually have 4 generations of McDonald's living in Manhasset, 3 generations going through the school system. Of course, there was no Planning Road School anymore, but it was a great school for us, those of us who went there. And the days at Memorial Field I remember so fondly with Strani and Army, Navy, Michigan, Notre Dame, and the competitions that we had and the fun that we had. And then moving on to junior high school and playing sports there and getting ready for high school. And at that point, living so close to the high school, I could walk there in 3 minutes, which was great. And one thing I do remember was during Christmas time was the band playing up on the tower, Christmas music. Geez, I love that. And just walking from class to class and seeing all my friends in the halls and after school going and playing sports and looking forward to that and competing with and against my friends. And just being well prepared for life afterwards. After high school, I went on and played baseball 4 years at Rutgers. And I did get to play in 2 NCAA regional championships there, and stayed in Manhasset for many, many years, and moved to Florida about 15 years ago, Palm Beach Gardens. And it's really nice down here. And I get up to Manhasset to visit my daughter, who lives on Hawthorne Place now, with her 2 kids. 10-year-old Delaney is in Muncie Park, along with Jack, who's 8. And looks like Jack's going to be a very good athlete. My daughter became a very good athlete at Manhasset, was recently honored and inducted into the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. She was an all-state athlete and got a scholarship to the University of Richmond. My son also was a 3-time all-state golfer, became the captain of the Maryland golf team, and has continued to play well. He lives in Ridgewood, New Jersey, with twin 2-year-old girls who are as cute as can be. So I'm playing golf down here, been retired for about 15 years. And funny thing is, I probably look like my dad did, but the reality is I'm 20 years older than my dad would look back when we were in high school. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful time. I will miss talking about the good old times. I hope you guys are making a video somehow, and I get to look at that after the party. But I want to thank Kathy very much for being able to set this up, and everybody else on the committee who arranged this. And I do get up to Manhasset frequently to see my daughter and to see the kids playing and all the fields that I grew up on. And my daughter actually had many of the same teachers that we had when we were in high school, and she thanked me for Mr. Murphy, who was tough on everybody else but her, I guess, because he kept saying that he liked me, and he was the only English teacher ever to give me an A, so he must have liked me because I wasn't that good of an English student. Anyhow, have a great time. I'm glad all of you who made it are there and healthy, and I hope your families are doing well, and just have a great time and enjoy life. Be well. Bye.
Hi, Patty Strassfontaine here. I'm so glad so many of you are going to make it to this year's reunion. It should be a fun weekend. I have fond memories of growing up in Manhasset, from meeting Perry Patton and Kathy Buer at Muncie Park's kindergarten class, to meeting Lori Stair, Nancy Greiner, and Vicki Sanson. To this day, these 5 women remain my dearest friends, and we get together as often as possible. Manhasset was a pretty idyllic place to grow up in, and I'm sure many of you share the same memories as I do, from lunch at town hall to lunchtime parties, from football games to sports night to the frolic. I'm sure there are many memories that I've forgotten that maybe over this weekend you can remind me about. In the meantime, thank you for listening, and I look forward to catching up with you. Take care.
Hi, this is Michelle Chisholm-Levitt. I'm taking this film with my mini pad, and I'm not sure why I'm facing it, but it ain't facing me. I'm looking forward to coming to Manhasset and seeing everybody, and I'm sitting in my kitchen. You can see a little bit of what my kitchen looks like here. My late husband and I added it to the house, and it's been a great kitchen. So, with plenty of room for the family. So, I'm living in Rhode Island, and I'm an artist. And my life as an artist, and I'm looking very forward to coming to see you all. So, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joni Frooks Maskell. I go as Joni Maskell now. I now have a husband. I've had him for 40 years. And I met him when I went to graduate school at the University of Florida. Go Gators! I now love football, which I don't even think when I was at Manhasset did I ever go to a football game, but I now love football. When we married, we moved to Jacksonville, Florida, and that's where we've lived. I have 2 grown children now, and I'm very happy to say I have a one grandchild, only 4 months old, a grandson. Love him. After I went to college and grad school, I ended up in Jacksonville working as a teacher. I graduated and I had a special ed degree, and I taught school for many years, and then all my friends were getting jobs with the airlines, so I decided to get a job with Delta Airlines, and I worked there for 15 years. And I loved that until they closed their office, and they closed their reservations office, not their main office, but they closed the reservations office. So I stayed home with my children for a little while until I decided to go back to teaching swimming. And if many of you remember, I taught swimming in my backyard when I was a kid. Remember, I had a pool in my backyard. And I taught for many years when I was a kid, and then I decided to go back to it because I loved it. So I started again teaching in backyards, my backyard, community pools all over the place. And then finally, 4 years ago, we ended up building a facility, 7,000 square foot facility, and I now have over 2,000 kids going through our doors weekly. And we have plans to build another one too. I love it. I am not retiring. It's just so much fun. In terms of remembering back in high school the days, or even in my elementary school, I went to Planham Road School, and I remember things such as the bus driver, Mike Ruggiero, and Eddie drove us home from school every day. We loved them. I remember braiding Debbie Christensen's hair many times. She had the longest hair and most beautiful hair. And I wonder if I'm still have the record for the girl that could throw the softball the farthest from 6th grade. I was very proud of that for many years. I also remember Swanee and all the sports we did. I loved that. And going on into high school, junior high and high school, I loved sports. I loved the after school programs of sport. That was just my favorite thing to do. I always tried to be as good as Lori Bogger, but never could quite get there. I still work at it. She was wonderful. I also loved sports night. That was great. One of my favorite teachers was Mrs. Elliott. I love physics and I love geometry. Mr. Lauer, and I can't even remember my physics teacher's name, but I really liked them. And do you remember a guy named Larry Hughes? He was pretty quiet, and we got assigned seats together in history class. And the last day of senior high, of that class, he gave me a ring. I was shocked and surprised. And come to find, at that point, he was black and I was white. So we never could see each other again. I mean, that was it. I never saw him again. So if anybody knows where he is, I'd love to see him again. He was really, really sweet. I was a goody two-shoes in high school, of course, and my girlfriend Sue Hoiberg, if you remember, both were goody two-shoes. We decided one day not to be so goody, so good. We snuck out at lunchtime, went to one of the houses and went drinking. I don't know what we were thinking, but in high school, what does anybody think about? You just don't know what you're doing in high school just about. You think you do, but you don't. So we went, of course we got caught. Of course we got caught. And we got punished a little bit, but we did our devilish things that time. I remember that. So as the time goes by, memories are made, and those are things we think we're not going to have, or we're never going to lose, but it goes by quickly, doesn't it? And here we are. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Buer here. I am so excited that we're all together to celebrate our 50th high school reunion. So great. It's wonderful to see everybody. I started in Muncie Park in kindergarten and went all through 12th grade. I love Muncie Park School. We had such wonderful teachers, and I met some of my best friends. Then we went on to junior high. Yep, we used to call it junior high. Now it's called middle school, but of course that was a long time ago. And we met some more students that came from the other two local schools, which are still some of my best friends. And then on to high school. High school was wonderful. We went to all the basketball games and the football games. And the girls had sports night, which was really great. We had such spirit and fun. So I have really wonderful memories. I'm glad that we're all in touch and we have contact information now. And I hope we can stay in touch, continue to stay in touch, and maybe we could try to find some of those few people that we, actually not so few, but the ones that we weren't able to find. I know there were some that couldn't come tonight, and you know, I'm sorry that they weren't able to make it, but we will have to celebrate and have fun. So be well and take care.
I'm Nancy Whitney Doxey. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody this coming weekend. Recently, I gave my granddaughter my high school jewelry box, and in it I found two special memories. One was my Sam pin, where Joan Robinson was my big sister in the Service Association of Manhasset. That taught me service not only of our high school, our community, but the people at large. Secondly, I found on my high school charm bracelet a charm of the state of Alabama, where we went to Greenville, Alabama on a high school exchange. Annette Foster was my exchange student, and in March of this year, Bobby and I drove through Greenville on a road trip, 50 years later. Both of these have taught me to look at cultures differently, people differently, and have helped me both personally and professionally throughout my life. Thanks to MHS for making me who I am today. I'll see you this coming weekend, and I'll miss my friends Gail Eprick, Joan Limner, Rick Solomon, and others. Goodbye.
Hi. Although I may be a little difficult to recognize now, I'm still Jeff McEwen, and I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm going to get to see so many of my classmates from so long ago very shortly. In September of 1962, I moved from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, to Manhasset, and it was one of the biggest changes that ever took place in my life. It took me a little while to get acclimatized, but I think eventually I hit my stride. One of the most interesting things, in addition to the wonderful teachers that we had and the great education we had, was getting to see how Americans learn about their country and how it affects how they view things and how different it is than it is in Canada. And that has stayed with me. It has been something that's been very interesting to me as I've watched events south of the border from my northern environs. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, and I hope we have a great time. Thanks. Bye.
It's Lynn Prunehuber. I'm sorry I can't be there tonight because I would have loved to catch up with some of my friends and some people I didn't know so well. I'm here in Seattle, and I have been an attorney, but I'm now retired. I was a public defender for a couple of years, and then a fraud prosecutor for most of my career. I am now the president of a very small nonprofit called Team Survivor Northwest. We provide exercise and fitness programs to women who've had cancer. As my husband said, the bad news is Lynn had cancer. The good news is she found a hiking group she really loves, and I do. So we go hiking, midweek hiking, which is one of the great luxuries of life, once a week for 6 months of the year. And then I also am out on the water dragon boating with them. And then, of course, there's the office work, which is work. But I do love it. So that's been good. I'm grateful for Olga Jenkins from Manhasset High School. She was my math teacher and the math teacher of a bunch of us for 3 years. And then she became my friend. I inherited her friendship from my father, Larry Prunehuber. And thank you. Several people made some very sweet comments in the email chain about my dad, and I really appreciate that. So I'm very grateful to Olga. She was the first adult who spoke to me like an adult, like a real person who thought and was worth listening to, and that was a great gift. I'm also grateful to Meredith Rudishan for reading Hedda Gabler in Catherine Elliott's English class with great dramatic effect. I've always remembered that. And I want to just wish you well, have a great time tonight, and I wish I could be there. Take care.
Well, hi there. I think I did one and forgot to put the sound on. This is Judy Rossmore, Judy Rossmore Veal. I live in Sarasota, Florida on Siesta Key, and I'm coming to visit. Since I grew up in Manhasset, I didn't graduate, so I'm not part of the class per se. What do I remember and what's so fabulous about coming from where we came from? Muncie Park, Miss Caswell, kindergarten, Lori Stair and I sharing cubby holes. We're still great friends. The May Day poll. Having to sleep for a nap and eating graham crackers and grapefruit juice. I have never liked that. Muncie Park, Miss McCarthy. Mr. Archambault with the plastic hanky that he had. The Wizard of Oz. Of course, Lori was the beautiful Dorothy and I was the Wicked Witch. Some things never change. Muncie Park. All the wonderful people that we've known. That's 63 years. Those are big numbers. At any rate, Manhasset. Plandome Country Club, Strathmore, the Plandome Deli with the big long dried eels and the best potato salad ever. Wright Hardware Store. That had a great scent. The movie theater with a beautiful balcony. The bowling alley. The Five and Dime. I spent a lot of time in there. The A&P. Going back to Muncie Park, the Good Humor truck when we'd get out in it's springtime from school. The smell of that straw that the janitors would put on when kids would get sick. Lining up in the hallway for polio vaccine. Being told that we had to hide under our desk in case there was a bomb threat. That always seemed a little bit counterintuitive. Like that wasn't a very huge sense of security to me. Some famous people. Jimmy Brown going to a PBC football dinner. PBC cheerleading. Kenny Howard, who used to sing in Congregational Church plays and became the White Shadow, which was about Manhasset basketball. Of course, there was the middle school. We love the middle school. The most memorable thing I can tell you about middle school, maybe, do you remember those ALM, How to Learn a Language, with those lines across the books? I happened to be in French class when JFK was killed. We all remember that. That was middle school. We lived through some pretty interesting times, and I'm really glad to have walked that walk with the people that I had next to me. I'm so excited about seeing some of you folks that I can hardly even stand myself. Remember B. Altman? Remember Lorraine and Patricia Murphy's with their popovers? I remember the very first McDonald's. I'm trying to think of some other great things that we'd all remember. Walking the tracks from the Plandome train station, burning fall leaves. Sometimes doing Halloween with snow, so you had to wear a coat to cover your Halloween outfit. That was always a little anticlimactic. At any rate, I look forward to commiserating, memorying. Friends new and old make the tapestry of our lives, and it'll be wonderful for the fill-in of the tapestry of the stories that we'll be hearing. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Did you say you'd marry me today? The mountain wears a veil for the sky. Did you say you'd marry me today? Do you know 1,000 reasons why? Do you feel the angels drawing near? Do you feel the aching of my heart? Do you feel the angels drawing near? The eyes of children in the dark. When you hear my singing in the air, do you feel a blessing from the ground? When you hear my singing in the air, from this aisle you're walking down. Can you see the future from this place? Does it look something like your dream? Can you see the future in my face? Can you see what's never been seen?
Hi, Manhasset High School, class of 68. My name is Diane Benson Kislak, and I will be joining you for our 50th reunion. Looking forward to it very much. I currently live in Ocala, Florida, and I've lived in Florida itself since 1981. To those that won't be with us, we will be thinking about you, and for those that are no longer with us, you will be with us in spirit and in our thoughts as well. I'm hoping everyone will have a great time, have safe travels, and see you soon. Bye.
Hi, I'm Susan Bockwell-Wright, and I attended Manhasset High School my junior and senior year. Sorry that my husband and I won't be able to attend our 50th. We were able to attend the 25th, and we had a great time. For many of you who probably don't know me because I came as a junior, I'm from Elmhurst, Queens, and then also I really my whole life I've lived in Breezy Point, which is in the Rockaways. And Jim and I just was able to go and see my lifelong friends for 2 weeks. So that's why we can't be back in Manhasset to enjoy the 50th. I'm sure you'll all have a great time. I've enjoyed seeing a lot of the videos, and unlike a lot of you that have been there for kindergarten and grammar school and know each other forever, I came as a late person as a junior, so I had a little different experience. It was a little difficult for me. Not everybody was able to make a new friend that they didn't know, but I did have some very good friends that I did make, and meant a lot to me. I remember Gail Everett. She was a very good friend, and she had the best heart ever. And it was sad to know that it was her heart that gave out. And she even wrote to me back in college. We kept together until the end. I've had other good friends. well, I had a neighborhood friend who was Candy Conrad, who was very popular, and she, through her, I was able to meet a few friends. I was able to go to lunch with Steve Winwood, and he had a Volkswagen, and we would go to the hamburger joint, and that was a big thrill for me, because in New York City you don't get to leave at lunchtime. It was very different going from Queens to Manhasset. Manhasset was like way different. Kind of like where we ended up, because we ended up in Newport Beach, California. But that's another story. Some of the best memories I have, I think, was that I joined the drill team, and I was able to enjoy all the football games, and made some friends, and we had Chinese drill teams, which I don't think anybody does anymore. And then also, I remember the frolic. That was a fun time. So there were many good times, and I liked sports night, Go Orange, because I was on the Orange team, and so that was a good time also. Anyway, a little bit about myself. After high school, my parents decided, after I graduated from Vermont College in Montpelier, Vermont, that they were going to move to Newport Beach. And so we moved to Newport, and that's where I met my husband. And then we've been married for 44 years, and we have 2 beautiful sons, and been blessed with 2 grandchildren. I became an early age child school teacher for 35 years. I love kids, and I was the president of the Future Teachers Club, so hey, that worked out. And also, Jim and I were very involved with our church, and our pastor was into backpacking in the Sierras, so I've backpacked, found out I'm a hiker, and I love to hike, and I was part of the youth group for another 30-something years. I love kids, I love people, and I've had a great life. And I just wish I wish we could be there, and I know you guys will have a great time. So have a BF of me.
I'm Jerry Wexelbaum. Those of you who remember me probably remember me as Wex. I'm going to give you a 3-minute synopsis of the last 50 years. My memories of Manhasset High School mainly center around sports, football, lacrosse, and my teammates who are my closest friends, and many of you, others of you who were with me from kindergarten in Muncie Park School through the 12th grade. After Manhasset, I went to Penn State, where I turned from a kind of mediocre high school student into a pretty good college student. Spent 4 years there, and then moved on to the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, where I got an MBA degree. After school, I went to work for a company then known as Ernst & Ernst, then Ernst & Winnie, as a management consultant. Spent 5 years there in Chicago, and during that time I met my lovely wife, Jerry. I know, it's cute, we have the same name. And we stayed there until 1979, when I entered my second childhood. Jerry and I both decided to give up our jobs in Chicago and move to Boca Raton, Florida, to escape some of the Chicago winters. We spent 2 years doing consulting projects on our own. It was very nice, but after a couple of years, it was time to rejoin the adult world, and I got a job with the consulting group of Arthur Young. Spent 9 years there. During that time, we built our first home. We adopted our daughter, Sarah, who's now a fine young lady living in Seattle, Washington. and I became a partner of Arthur Young, stayed there until 1992 when I entered my second childhood. And that meant I was going to start my own firm again, Strategy Support Associates, that did strategic planning consulting. That firm still exists. I still work at it, but I'm kind of semi-retired, so I work on a part-time basis and do projects when I've got them. In 2003, we entered our second childhood when my wife and I built our mountain home in Cashiers, North Carolina. That's western North Carolina, about an hour and 20 minutes southwest of Asheville. We each year we spent more time there, but now we're spending about 6 months in Cashiers and 6 months in Boca Raton, Florida. We love it up there and have a really great time. My activities now, at age 68, I still am working, so I do projects every now and again. I play golf. I suck at it, but I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I'm never going to be a very good golfer, but I enjoy it a lot. And I've become a very avid bicyclist, both in Florida in the flatlands and along the beach, which is a very nice place to ride, and end up in the mountains where the hills can be pretty challenging, but it's really a lot of fun, and I enjoy it very much. I find it a terrific activity to help clear my mind, to get some activity, and to hopefully try and stay in good shape. So that's kind of a synopsis of 50 years. We're getting ready to go to the 50th reunion, and we're looking forward to it. I want to thank the people who organized this. It's going to be a great event, and we're very excited about it. Thank you for listening.